Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Taurus in mid-August 2019. What's going on, Taurus? How you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing well. All right, guys, mid-August, welcome to it. If you're a returning viewer, I thank you for coming back. If you're new to the channel, you're also welcome. I hope you have a good time here. Nothing really to announce. Nah, man. Summer's wrapping up here in the Northern Hemisphere, so if you guys have had an amazing summer, I hope it was... well, I hope you've had an amazing summer. I hope it's gone really well for you. Hopefully you've been able to take some time off, kick back, relax, enjoy the good weather. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, same thing. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you've had a good time over what is the summer month to me, or summer months to me. Regardless of where you are in the world, I hope everything in your life is going swimmingly. Taurus, yeah, man, let's just get into it. I've shuffled off camera. That's your main spread there. I'm going to shuffle on camera now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all the cards are out and they're lying face up on the table, that's when the reading begins. Timestamp is in the description box below if you want to jump ahead. It's down there for your reason or for your purposes. I do it because I know some people, you know, they don't like the jibber jabber. Also down there is the information you need if you want to get a personal reading with me. But if you have any questions on what you can expect, or if you want to clarify something before you actually place an order, you can go ahead and email me at the exact same address. I did have something flip out in my hand, but I didn't pay attention to it. You had something fall on the ground here. So what is this? The Six of Pentacles in reverse. So, Six of Pentacles in reverse. Well, for some of you, there might be a lack of balance. There might be a lack of reciprocity. Things might not be coming up in your favor or coming up in a beneficial way for you right now, Taurus. There might be a certain loss. On that card was a grandfather clock, so some of you may have lost some time or feel as though you're under pressure of time. So not the greatest feeling as I picked that up and was kind of guided to talk about it. So hopefully, if that is your case, it comes and it goes rather quickly in your life. But ultimately, might not be the most beneficial energy coming across your table right now. Anyway, so yeah, so if you want to get a personal, all the information is down below. And of course, guys, remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment on the video. Interact with it as much as possible in whatever way you choose, because YouTube loves that kind of stuff. And it helps support me as a creator, okay? All right, I want to see the outcome for Taurus in mid-August. I want to see Taurus's outcome in mid-August 2019. Please show me. Whoa, is that a flip? No. Okay. Oh, well, there that goes. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. Where did it go? There it is. All right, it came like this, so we put it there. You only had two cards come up in your main that were face down, so let's flip those over now. And I didn't express it before I started, but I was feeling something about half revealed. You know, obviously you had two cards that came face up and two that came face down. So there's just this feeling of half revealed, half revealed, half revealed. So you or someone around you right now, Taurus, is not fully revealing themselves, or something isn't all known to you or known to someone else. Like there's just this inconclusive sort of energy. Okay? So now that everything's flipped, let's figure out what's going on. Please show me where Taurus is in mid-August. Please show me Taurus in mid-August. Please show me. Come on. Okay, thank you. Whew. So, if I'm honest, you were on the side where the two cards were face down. So, not to say that you're necessarily not revealing something, Taurus, but something might not be revealed to you. I feel like there's something cloudy going on in your life, and you may or may not be aware of that. And it feels kind of unfortunate because I don't think it has to be so clouded in mystery and yeah, I feel like something is missing and it doesn't have to be missing, okay? Now, you start off the reading with the Seven of Wands. So, Seven of Wands traditionally is a card of a defensive posture. It shows a man on a hilltop with one wand in his hand, fending off 6 other wands down below, assumingly held by 6 individuals. So it could be something like that. It could be some of you could be in a position, not of power, but you could be sort of ascending to something, that hilltop, and the people below kind of is what's giving me that. So you could be on the rise towards something, or you could be moving away from something or moving towards something, and you could have naysayers sort of, nipping at your heels saying, what are you doing, Taurus? Why are you doing that? Where are you going? Or it is a general reading. Some of you could be one of the 6 saying, hey, where do you think you're going? And you're kind of accosting someone else. That's just, kind of tied to that more traditional feel and the traditional artwork. What we have here is, this depiction of a forest, where the treetops in this deck, Santa Morte deck, on every card there's like a skull or some type of series of skulls that's very prominent. So in the treetops there you can see like the impression of a skull, but then there's like this clear line of sight towards the base of the trees. So again, I'm getting this idea of something is cloudy, something is unshown, sure. It's just not revealed completely. There's a bit of a mystery here. There's a bit of secrecy here. And it doesn't have to be, because again, where we're standing as the viewers of this card, as the viewers of this artwork, this whole thing could have been clear, but the artist put this, the myriad branches at the top, right? And it gives this impression of something. So maybe that's what I'm really supposed to focus on, is the impression of something. Either you or someone around you is giving a false impression, or is leading you to believe, or you're leading someone to believe something that isn't necessarily true. Or not that it's not true. Let me take that back. Not that it's not true. It doesn't have to be so shrouded in mystery, because again, we've got a clear line of sight towards the base of these trees. So the fact that the majority of this card is like this haywire crosswire, amalgamation of branches, it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, for artistic purposes it does, because of what the artist wants to achieve in this card. But in terms of the feeling here, something doesn't have to be as complex, because it's like this, web or interlacing of branches. Something is more confusing, beguiling, mysterious than it has to be. It does not have to be this way. And that's kind of where I'm going back to what I said about the traditional artwork and the traditional interpretation of the Seven of Wands is defensiveness. It does not have to be that way. A lot of times with the Seven of Wands, though, someone feels they must, based on principle, based on integrity, based on, if I give up, then I'm going along with their decision, or I'm going along with what the crowd wants me to do. I'm not going to be an individual. So that could be at play here. Someone's individuality is at stake, or someone's perceived independence is at stake, and it's just muddied, and it's not necessarily clear to you or clear to someone else. And so Taurus, I feel as though you're going to fall. It's a general reading, so some of you are going to be in that defensive posture. Others of you, you're looking at someone saying, hey, why are you acting that way? Or how come I'm not getting, heads or tails out of this situation? I'm kind of confused, and I don't know where I stand with this person, or I don't know where they stand with the group, whatever. So you're all going to be playing different roles in with this Seven of Wands. The undercurrent of the entire thing is it does not have to be that way. So maybe someone is being stubborn, maybe someone is being prideful with their sense of independence and their integrity and their dignity and all that kind of stuff. Maybe. It could be, and it's defensive again. So I'm feeling like they're scared. They don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to be, in some cases, I think like they feel they might be like scapegoated. Like, if I don't defend myself, if I don't stand up for myself, if I don't assert myself in these ways, then I'm going to be like a pawn or something like that. So this person refuses to be, someone refuses to be used. Someone refuses to be, sort of traded. I was like, wait, no. And they're like, yes, traded. So someone is like a bargaining chip here. And they know they're the bargaining chip. Or they know that they have some sense of importance in the mix, and they don't want to be used by either side. So just to illustrate what I'm trying to say, this will be like, for some of you, this will be the situation, but it's not popping out here on the table to me just yet. But it would be sort of like a child in between two warring parents. I'm not going to be your bargaining chip mom. I'm not going to be your bargaining chip dad. I'm not going to be, caught up in the middle of your guys' drama because you guys are fighting, because you guys are divorcing, because you guys are separated, because you guys are trying to reconcile, but that's a bad idea, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. There's this idea of someone is not going to be the emotional bargaining chip between two other people. That's not in all cases, but that's just to illustrate this idea of someone knows that their worth in the situation is to kind of offset one side or the other, to give one side a leg up over the other side. And Taurus, you could be the bargaining chip. It could be your child is the bargaining chip. It could be, in terms of business, it could be, you've got a 3 or a 4-way business that you're starting or that you've been working on for years, and like somebody is dissenting and somebody wants to go this way and somebody wants to go that way, and you could be the deciding factor or the deciding vote or whatever it is, and it's just like, I don't want to be used that way. And that's the other thing. The beguiling energy, it's not what it appears to be, or it doesn't have to be that way, is I feel like in some cases someone is just like directly blowing smoke, and that's offensive to somebody. Like you're doing that assuming I'm dumb. Like, you're trying to blow smoke up my ass because you think I'm too stupid to recognize this, or you think I'm too stupid to recognize what your end game is. You know what I mean? So there's the offensiveness there. Like, someone is being, like someone's trying to undermine someone else based on their perception of their intelligence, and that's offensive. Because I'm not sensing, even in the case of the child, I'm not sensing that we're dealing with children, like toddlers, or people, young kids that are in like elementary school. If we're talking about kids, I'm feeling like middle school, junior high, high school, college, adults, whatever. I'm feeling like everybody here is a sentient being. Everybody here is intelligent. Everybody here can kind of get to the nuances of what's going on. So, tricky. And that's unfortunate because, oh boy. Yes. Now? Okay, thank you. Because this is the move. The move? Let me clean that up for you guys. The motivation is with the Seven of Pentacles. Like, what's going on here in the Seven of Wands is kind of motivated by this Seven of Pentacles energy. That you're either perpetrating or someone else is perpetrating, or it's kind of influencing everybody involved, if I'm honest. It kind of feels like that. But we do only see one person there, like this guy behind the abacus, right? He's just kind of counting up his coin, right? So, with the Seven of Pentacles, it's an evaluation period. We're doing checks and balances in our life. Could be about money for those who this is like a business decision, or something to do with, a big financial purchase, or what to do with the disbursement of finances, perhaps, in terms of like settlements or any type of payouts for insurance, whatever it is. But this is really balancing the books, and, outside of finances, I think that this is plotting next moves. This is deciding what's best for me going forward, whoever me is. I think this applies for everybody. It's sort of like, they're showing me like a board game, like Monopoly or Clue or anything like that, where, the aim of the game is to win, and there can only be one winner. Now, I'm not trying to make it like in such grand terms, like only one person can win and everybody else loses. Maybe some of you are in situations where that is it, but like that's sort of... The feeling is that everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to look out for their own best interest, and everybody wants to move their little game piece further along the board, right? Everybody wants to see themselves come out at the end with the most money, with the most pieces captured. In the case of Clue, I solved the case. I know who killed it. It was Mrs. Peacock with the candlestick in the library. Whatever. Done. It's selfish, but not in a way that I think anybody would ever say, I'm being selfish. Like, it's a bit of irony here, Taurus, because because you would be playing this game too. You know, you're sitting there, you're Professor Plum, and you're trying to crack the case, and then Miss Scarlet across the table, she cracked the case first. So this idea of it being selfish applies to everybody. So I'm not here to attack you, I'm not here to attack the other person or other people. Everybody here is coming from the standpoint of, I need to take care of my bottom line. I need to make sure that I'm okay in this situation, or that I come out on top, or that I cross the finish line, yeah? And so this idea of selfish is really like being tossed across towards other people. You're projecting it on other people. People are projecting that towards you. This idea of selfish. You know, you're looking out for number one. You don't care about yourself. And it's like, well, the irony is you're sitting here playing this game alongside me. So if I'm selfish, you're selfish. You see what I mean? So everybody who's here to play Clue, everybody who sat down at this table to do, you know, a 5-hour marathon of Monopoly, whatever it is, we all agree that we want to win. And if I'm going to do it by, you know, putting hotels as soon as I can, or, you know, whatever people's tactic is for playing these games, it's like justified. People are finding ways to justify their actions, or to provide rational reasons, as rational as possible, because Pentacles, they're not necessarily about logic and communication. That would be the sword suit, right? But with Pentacles, it's practical. It makes logical sense. Not necessarily from, you know, a purely intellectual place. Sometimes it makes financial sense, or it makes sense in terms of scheduling, right? That this has to go, like, if you're planning a day and you set out an itinerary and you follow that itinerary, it makes sense to you because that fits your schedule. But if someone else needs something from you, Taurus, that becomes then inconvenient on you. Like, I hope you get what I'm saying. Like, there's a vested self-interest for everyone, and everybody to some degree has blinders on, and they're wanting it to be their way. They want to approach this their way, and whatever falls out, whatever solutions come about, whatever the final status of the situation is, whoever's deemed the winner of the game, they want it to be favorable for them. Nobody here wants to be the loser, yeah? And that's natural. Most people don't want to lose, or most people don't want to sacrifice regularly, okay? But right now, that's like a heightened position right now, Taurus. Everybody involved, whether it's 2 people, 15 people, I don't care. Everybody here wants to win, or wants to see a certain outcome that is favorable in their eyes. Even if they're not crowned the winner, maybe they'd come in second place, or maybe they could be, you know, the assistant to the winner, and therefore that's okay for them. Does that make sense? This is very strange because... Alright, Taurus, I apologize about that. I am the queen of forgetting to clean out storage before I start to record. I always, like, you know, after I've done editing videos, I'm like, oh yeah, and then I have to delete it, and then I go off and I forget and I do something else. Anyway, so what I was saying was, like, there's this feeling of like someone being contented, or everybody wants their outcome to come out in this situation, whether it's financially beneficial, whether it's beneficial within a family situation, whatever we're talking about. Like, I feel heavily this is family and money, or family and finances, or family and business, right? And not necessarily those two things going hand in hand, but I feel it does overlap in many of your cases. Yeah, and so there's just this vested interest in, you know, I want to win, or I want to be deemed to be the winner, or the person that comes out on top. And that kind of makes sense. You know, nobody really goes into playing any type of game or any type of situation or relationship or business saying, you know what, if I don't come out the winner, if I end up losing, that's okay. Like, a lot of times we don't wish for that. Like, you can say to somebody who's playing a game or playing sports or something like that, you know, if you do lose, don't be a sore loser. But ultimately, nobody goes into a game saying, you know what, if I lose, it's A-okay. It's like, nah, I'm here to win. Like, you have to have, like, there's, not that you have to have, but a lot of times you're encouraged to have this energy of, I already am the winner, or have this mind of a champion, or mind of somebody who will be successful. And so that's kind of what I feel here underneath it. for everybody, or almost everybody involved, you know, is I'm going to come out on top. I'm going to come out the winner here. Now, the sad thing, not even sad, because it's just a part of reality. So I'm going to take that back, because I don't want to say it's sad, because I think it kind of passes some judgment that I'm not here to pass. The unfortunate thing that I feel, or the reality, is that in some cases, people are being, like I said before, used as bargaining chips. People are being, you know, like alliances are being made, or like, you know, solidarity is being formed, and, well, he told me when we started this that he was on my side, and so now that it's come to this point in the deal, or this point in the journey, it's just like, it's really muddied, which again is like kind of what I'm getting from that Seven of Wands, where it does not have to be this complicated, it does not have to be this layered or interwoven or intertwined and entangled. It can be a lot clearer, but because everybody has this selfish investment, again, not a bad thing, you know, that's just to acknowledge that everybody has a personal investment in this, because everybody's coming from a selfish point of view, and not much negotiation is going on in that sense. I'm not sure of where you are, or what's going to happen, or why this is happening. It's just, you know, it's like it has this energy of every man for himself, but because it's such a network of people having to be involved, again, in business or family, any type of situations or relationships you have, because everybody is sort of conjoined together, it's hard to have this really independent individual energy and such a hard focus on the self. And again, I'm drawn back sort of to like that analogy I gave you about, you know, the child being the bargaining chip, because the parents are so self-involved and so egotist about their point of view, or what they feel is the right outcome in the situation. They negate or ignore or forget that they're talking about the other parent of the child. They forget that they're talking about a child, which is, regardless of what age the kid is, whether they're 5 years old or 50 years old, the child is their own person as well. So it's like, in this situation, between these two cards, there's an emphasis on myself. If I was Taurus, let's say, and I'm only doing this because I don't even think Taurus is quote unquote the bad guy. Some of you are, some of you are not. And even then, I don't think that there's bad guys or good guys here. It's just people being people. So from from the stance of the primary person, for the argument's sake, Taurus, you say, I'm invested in myself, I'm invested in my own outcome, I care about, you know, again, I'm doing checks and balances in my life, what's going to be favorable to me, what's going to see me in a beneficial position at the end of the day, right? But then still looking at everybody else who's sitting around the table playing Monopoly, doing whatever, involved in the situation, saying, well, you're selfish, you're selfish, you're selfish. But you know that from your point of view, that you care about yourself, that you care about the way that this situation benefits you. That's the definition of selfish. So it's very pot calling the kettle black for everybody, okay? So, you know, I only used you as the primary example, Taurus, because it is your reading, but everybody can take a slice out of that pie, okay, and chew it up, because nobody here is without fault. Even the bargaining chip has a selfish intent or a selfish lean to them, regardless of whether they're a child or a business partner or a romantic partner or whatever. Whoever is the person in the middle, they also have a selfish intent. They may not want to go over to this person's side. They selfishly want to be aligned with this person over here because they feel that's better for them, or they feel that's better for everybody else involved. So everybody has a personal angle here. And I never come to a reading hoping to blame anybody. But I'm telling you, this is like one where I can't call it. I just don't... that's never my intention, to come in as like a moralizer. But absolutely, today, I have no way to see or feel who, quote unquote, is to blame here, right? Now, I picked this up, and I didn't really consult. But yeah, okay, thank you. Because I was like, was I supposed to pick this up? King of Pentacles right above the Seven of Pentacles position. So Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So this could be you or could be someone else in this situation. It does not have to be a fellow Earth sign. But the King of Pentacles, you know, is successful. Is a person that is secure in themselves, financially secure in themselves, in terms of their material possessions and their resources. Like, they really don't want for much in terms of finances or material gains or material items, right? They would be confident socially, I think. They may not be a social butterfly, but they could get by in a conversation. They can get by with small talk. They're not overly offensive in any type of way. Male or female, just because it's a king does not mean it has to be a male, right? And so, but what I'm drawn to is this hugging onto that chest, right? In other tarot decks, you don't usually see the King of Pentacles coveting what he owns, because he's at the pinnacle point in the minor arcana, in the court cards, right? He's at the tippy top. He has no reason to covet. He has no reason to be insecure. I'm getting hit with this idea and this feeling of insecurity within this king. As much as he is operating from a place of, you know, paranoia or fear about what he might be losing at the end of the day. So, you know, that could speak to how you feel, that could speak to how someone else feels in the situation, but there's this guarded energy. Pick it back up, thank you. There's this guarded energy with this person, whoever they are. It could be some of you. I don't think it's going to be nearly the majority of Tauruses. I think this is someone, conversely, I think many of you are dealing with someone who's coming in this way, that they're guarded, that they're shielding themselves, or that they're shielding what they value. Could be their money, could be their possessions. It could be, in the case of the bargaining chip, it could be trying to cling on to the person that is the bargaining chip, like little Tommy. Come here, little Tommy. No. You want to spend the weekend at my house, don't you? And it's like, little Tommy, like, really does not. But or maybe little Tommy does. But there's this idea of pulling closer and possessing closer what is of value. In some cases, you know, it is a chest, right? So it is indicating money, but this idea of little Tommy has just like hit me right in my third eye a little bit. And that is for sure. Some of you or someone around you is clinging heavily to a person. That's my person, my child, my wife, my husband, my sister, my brother, my friend, whatever. My, you know, in terms of a business, in terms of like coming together with multiple people, trying to get a creative idea off the ground or a financial idea off the ground or whatever we're doing. It's like, oh no, well I found him. Like, that's my guy from college who has, you know, an MBA. I found him. I am friends with him. Versus we all have a relationship with this person within a business dynamic. There's like this extra emphasis. There's like a marking. Like now they're showing me like a cat scratch or like a paw print. And I don't know if that's significant in terms of symbolism to you guys, but there's like a mine, like a hand on it, mine, and nobody else can touch it, or nobody else can really wrangle this person away from me, or detach this person from me. I think this person, whoever it is, definitely is confident in that relationship or in that possessiveness. They kind of know or believe that once I'm able to demonstrate that I have ownership of this portion of the money, I'm 60% owner in this company, or the assets are in my name, you know, 70% of the assets are under my purview or are under my control. I have, you know, 75, I don't even know that custody would work this way, but primary custody, there you go. I have primary custody of the child. I have, you know, X amount of years at this table of experience over everybody else. There's just this dominance of I came first, it's mine first, they were mine first, I possess it this much, therefore I win, or therefore my outcome is the best outcome or the most beneficial, or it's just going to be that way. This person, I don't want to say they're cocky, because King of Pentacles is rarely cocky, but they certainly are perhaps overextending or overplaying that hand, or relying too heavily on the principle of it. Again, the principle of mine first. I have this much invested. It's this much my favor, or this much of my money has been put into the business, or this much is mine. And that is to the detriment of future relationships inside this little whatever situation we're talking about now, and future, or external, I should say, because you have across the way the Two of Cups in reverse. I'll show you this card upright. So this has not, for many of you, at least, rather, the energy that I've come across as I've dealt with these cards today has not been heavily focused on romance. Two of Cups is one of those cards that speaks to romance, or speaks to the idea of soulmates and connections and amorous connections with people. So for some of you, this could be a romantic thing, but I'm just saying emotional attachments with anybody. Friends, family, lovers, it does not matter. Two of Cups in reverse, detrimental. It's not reciprocated, or it's not going to go in a smooth synchronicity. Ooh, smooth synchronicity, because I did the infinity symbol with my finger, aka the figure 8, right? The infinity symbol. And I feel that it's bumpy. This connection is bumpy. This connection is rocky. It's disturbed. It's being interfered with. It's not what it was. It's not what someone might be hoping it would be. And again, this is beyond romance. This could be friendship. This could be family. Like, I feel heavily, a lot of this is family and business for many of you. And there's just going to be like this sourness between folks. Maybe primary two, because it is the two of Cups. So maybe between two particular people, out of a family dynamic or out of a business dynamic, it's going to sour. The relationship sours, or things just kind of, in this, as you can see, turn up on their head, right? What once was, or once could have been, a more copacetic, a more blended energy now becomes a little disabled, right? So something gets turned on its head. And I think it is, if I'm honest, because this person over here, whether they are one of the two or not, you'll know better than I do. This person, because they're so mine, it destables something between two particular people. Two particular people. Whether this person is one of the two, I don't know. But that grasp, that heavy anchoring down on what belongs to me, or what I feel I am due, kind of screws it up for two other people. I don't know that it completely sours it. I don't know that it completely shatters or breaks or cracks apart the connection. I don't feel that completely. I think it makes it more difficult for that seemingly or hopefully copacetic energy to come forward. I think it makes it harder for it to punch forward and become a part of whatever future reality that you're seeking, or that would come about. That's weird, because that can go in so many ways. That could be business, that could be love and romance, Maybe you have a child who's like a teenager, and because you're over there fighting in court or fighting with your ex over what, the status of your child and where and when they can go and where they can stay, and then that escalates into something that could depress, this is just an example to show you how something unrelated to the potential connection can destabilize it. So you arguing with your ex or whoever can really mess up your kids' headspace. They become depressed, or they become angry or anxious all the time. And so they have, a boyfriend or a girlfriend or someone that they're interested in, puppy love, whatever it is. And then they become a sour person in their relationship because they're worried about what is going on at home. So the stress that the child is being put on, or the stress that's being put on the child from a separate situation, is now affecting their love relationship. Does that make sense? That's just to illustrate it. That's not going to apply to everybody, obviously. outcome for the mid-August period. Taurus, you have the Judgment card in reverse. I'll show you this upright. Judgment card, secondary major arcana for Scorpio. So some of you might be dealing with a Scorpio. What we would hope to see when we see the Judgment card is a revival of something, or at least that's usually what it signals, right? It signals something that is brought up from the dead, something that has another go-round, another potentiality in it, right? With this in reverse, I'm feeling like something is like squashed, something is soured, like I was saying up here with that two of cups. And this is unfortunate because I think this Judgment is asking, like this energy feels like it's been here before. Like we've been in a similar situation before here, Taurus, somewhere in your life where, you know, telltale signs are all over this current situation, hearkening back to things that you've gone through before. And the decisions and the behaviors that are made today or around now are going to not give you a new life. What? Wow. Okay. Not give you a new life. Not bring about a new day. There's something about the need, well, not need, but there's something here that encourages change, or is asking for change, or is indicating that things might transpire differently if we change and tweak things a little bit. But I don't think things have been tweaked. I don't think that we've changed too much, if at all. And therefore, we will eventually probably repeat this cycle. Wow, that's pretty clear, because they're like, put it down. I'm like, all right. Your overall energy is the King of Swords. All right, so air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You might be dealing with a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but you don't have to be. As an overall energy, you know, this is like kind of plain as day. You know, this guy standing in this field of flowers with his sword in his hand, or rather his machete in his hand, right? It's very plain. Like this person is armed to the teeth, not necessarily in reality. I'm not sensing that someone is like, you know, grabbing their guns and their swords and they're ready to fight, you know, out on a battlefield. I'm not sensing that. But this energy is, I'm coming to a situation ready to defend myself, ready to debunk. Okay, ready to debunk certain situations or excuse me, certain viewpoints. This person is ready to fight. Very figuratively, they're ready to fight. In some cases, maybe they're ready to like physically fight. And if that's your situation, I apologize, because I'm not here for physical violence at all. But this person or this energy is just one of standing in your truth, or standing see, perceived truth. Thank you. Standing in your perceived truth, okay? And being willing, more than willing, like chomping at the bit to express what is the truth from your perspective. And again, perceived truth. I don't normally say that because, again, I am an empathic reader, right? So based on everything that has come here, this is a skewed perspective. This is skewed. King of Pentacles skewed. Seven of Pentacles skewed. This is skewed because of outcome, or this is skewed or soured because of peripheral influences, yeah? And this is skewed because, again, that treetop perspective being enmeshed and kind of confusing and complex, and then you have this clear line of sight at the base, at the bottom of the thing, at the foundation of the thing. There's a clarity that could be adhered to, or that could be aligned with, but the focus of your eye, when you going way back to the beginning, when you look at this card, the focus of your eye, or the more alluring or the more interesting part of the card, is up in the treetops, because you got the impression of the skull and it's intricate with all of the branches overlaying each other, versus just looking down here at the blue sky, right? So there's just this adherence to, for lack of a better word at this moment, bullshit. There's an adherence and an attraction to confusion and complexity when there doesn't have to be any. And with that King of Swords as the overall energy, I told you, a perceived truth. Selfish things, subjective things are all at play here, and you're really in the nuances of, you know, the human experience as far as I'm concerned. It's not easy, and the result of this is not going to be pleasant for most people. As much as everybody wants to win, as much as everybody wants to come out on top, as much as everybody believes their point of view is the correct point of view, or their way of approaching a situation is the correct way, I don't think it's overly beneficial for anybody, truly. Taurus, that's your mid-August reading. It's a doozy. It's a doozy, you know, but I think you'll handle it. It's only for the mid-August period, right? And everything in tarot, everything in life, you know, comes in cycles, ebbs and flows. So you're going to be fine at the end of the day. But, you know, if you were hoping for something like really upbeat and uplifting, I'm sorry. But not today, my friends. All right? All right, Taurus, if you like this video, there's a like button down below. Go ahead and hit that for me. You can leave a comment below letting me know how this resonated in your life. Be sure to share this video across your social media platforms. Let other people know that you're watching my stuff. And if you are not subscribed already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, you guys. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see stuff as I upload it. Yeah, that's that. Taurus, I will be back in a few weeks, maybe a week and a half, to do your September messages. And then, of course, your mids after that. And yeah, guys, I look forward to seeing you then, all right? Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Bye.